Alien Hands 89.
Yeah, as drummers, you want to tap. So we are rolling. This is Java Schticks, pretty much episode 1.
All right.
I did do an episode with Ryan Baylog, but there were some technical difficulties, so I got to have him back over. You know Ryan. Ryan's a big fan of yours.
Yeah.
You taught him drums back in the day?
Yeah.
Lessons.
He was he was a teenager.
Teenager, yeah.
He had the sonar kit.
He did, yeah. So this is kind of like the inaugural episode, sitting here with Mike Chilton. Mike, for those that don't know you, you know, I could talk a lot about you. I could say who you are, but why don't you just say who you are, what you're doing, bands that you're in, were in recent memory?
Well, I've been with the same band for almost 30 years. 4-Star Riot since our first gig was, I think, October 10th, 1998.
98.
At the Gasoline Alley on 19.
The old Gasoline Alley.
The old Gasoline Alley.
Wow. Okay.
So that was going on, so almost 2026? Yeah, almost 30 years, 28 years.
Wow. So you were 4-Star Riot for all that time, and then I met you back in around 2010, and you were teaching lessons, I think, at Sam Ash McMullen. Is that right?
Yeah. I was doing 1 day a week. At that time, I was doing 1 day a week there.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
And then 4 days a week somewhere else.
Yeah.
I think at Calvary Baptist Church.
Oh, yeah?
I taught there for 3 years, I think.
I feel like around that time, the 2010 to 2012, 2013, it was cool because guys like you and myself and whoever we were like the Clearwater Beach guys. Mm-hmm. You know, like I'd have a gig at Frenchie's Rockaway and I'd see you across the street, or I'd be at Brown Boxer, you'd be somewhere, and it was like that little beach community that we had. And I guess it's hard to believe, but it's been probably since 2015, 2016 that I've even seen you.
Yeah.
I didn't know that much time had elapsed. And we kind of only got plugged back in because last year my buddy was selling that drum kit. Mm-hmm. You know, and
he was.
I know, a big, Yamaha kit, and as soon as you popped up and you were like, I'll take it, I kind of knew, I kind of felt like it was you, because how fast you jumped on it.
Yeah, I didn't need another drum set.
No.
And it wasn't, but I like that kit.
Yeah. Well, how many drum sets do you need? You know, I've always been like a 1 drum kit guy, and then now I have like 2 or 3, and I'm like, do I need it?
Probably about 9 less than I have.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I like talking about with drummers, some of it's pretty obvious, you know, is your drum influences growing up. I mean, you and I are a little bit apart in age. I'm sure we have some of the same influences, but who were the guys that when you were growing up got you into it, and that you think to this day were your biggest influence on how you play?
Well, so I'm the youngest of 6 in my family, so I was lucky to have brothers and sisters with great records.
Yeah.
So I can remember being 5 years old and sitting with Led Zeppelin 2, the album, and going in and playing the album. And I remember listening to Whole Lotta Love, and during the guitar solo section, Jimmy Page is using the theremin. Right. And dude, it sounded like a haunted house to me. It scared the hell out of me. But I would sit in my room and listen to that. And so that was like number 1. It was 100%.
John Bonham.
Was John Bonham.
Okay.
And then later, so I got all of that from my brothers and sisters. Rolling Stones, Beatles, all that. We had all that. Then my generation was like the MTV generation. So I got like, you know, the Motley Crue, the Metallica, Def Leppard. Def Leppard was my first favorite band. First album I ever bought was High and Dry. Def Leppard, believe it or not.
I'm shocked.
And then that was, now you're talking like 1983.
Okay.
Right, early 80s. Mm-hmm. So that's, MTV had just come out. Now they're coming to an end. Like,
are they actually?
Yeah, at the end of this year, I just saw that.
I'd be bummed, but I'm not.
well, they haven't played music in forever, but so then so fast forward to get through the 80s and towards the late 80s, early 90s. The Police were like the biggest band in the world through the 80s, right?
Yeah.
But I was more into harder rock stuff. But I still liked the Police. But as I got going into the 90s, I was realizing, holy mackerel, how great that drumming was on the Police.
Oh yeah.
You know, so those two, John Bonham, Stuart Copeland,
Okay.
Neil Peart
Right.
was right along there in the 90s, and then I got really into like Dave Aberzees, Matt Cameron, all the 90s guys.
Yeah.
They were phenomenal.
The big 90s heavy hitters.
Yeah, and then so I came up at a weird time. Then the VHS tapes were coming out. So then I was getting Dave Weckl, Jeff Porcaro, all these VHS tapes, Steve Gadd. So I was watching all that stuff, learning from those guys, because I didn't go. I took some drum lessons, but mainly it was all those right VHS,
records and
DVDs,
such.
and records, and then I learned how to read after. After.
So like a lot of us, you had the Bonhams, the Copelands, but it's funny hearing the Def Leppard and you say Motley Crue? Was that one of them?
Yeah, I love
Tommy Lee.
Yeah, I still think that first album, Too Fast for Love, the drums are amazing on that.
Yeah.
Amazing.
He's very Bonham on some of those, surprisingly.
Funky too, like he had some cool stuff.
It is cool that those are your, you would credit that as to your big influences. Early influences, because, a lot of our mutual friends, even myself, when I think of you, I think of you as really like a very, I say this in a positive way. There's like two dimensions to Mike. There's Mike at the gig, where you're like Steve Jordan. You're just like pocket all day long. You're not going to do anything that's going to lose the gig. You're going to do what you're going to do your job. You're going to clock in. You're going to do your job. You're going to clock out. Perfect. Very Jason Karen. Then there's this whole other Mike Chilton in the garage that's doing all these rudiments, and I joke around, and you have a very large vocabulary. So how do you manage that? Like how do you incorporate all, because you do a lot of it. How do you incorporate all of that practice of your rudiments and your theory and reading into the gig, or is it not even something that you think about in that regard?
I don't know. I leave a lot of it out.
Yeah.
Mostly, I leave most of it out because it would just be obnoxious to play all this. But every once in a while, you hear, like in that track we just did, that's a combination, little 5-stroke, 7-stroke rolls that come out that I don't think they, I overdid it a little bit there just because we're having fun.
Yeah.
But when I recorded that, I left most of that stuff out. You'll hear little drags here and there on the hi-hat, like Stuart Copeland-ish stuff.
Yeah, so you don't try, you don't inherently think, okay, but before this bridge section, I'm going to push a 9-stroke.
No.
If it comes out, it comes out. If it feels good.
Because if I think about it, it's going to suck.
Right.
It's going to suck.
Isn't that fun? For those who don't know, we did, I should say, you just came over and went to the Alien Hands lab, as we call it, and you recorded a track that's going to be posted here shortly called Empty Spaces by 4-Star Riot, your band.
Empty Space.
And I would, maybe I'm wrong, but to me, I hear 4-Star Riot, I hear that song, I think indie rock / a little bit of like British rock kind of vibe, alternative. I always thought that your singer had kind of like a Train kind of vibe to him, but it's a very you could say it's a very simple song, musically speaking, but then watching you do it, you're right. I mean, you definitely did some rudiment stuff in there, but it didn't feel like you were forcing it.
Well, that's one. I guess we have quite a few songs where I can let loose like that.
Yeah.
But a lot of our stuff is super simple.
Rock solid, yeah.
Real simple. And a lot of that, comes just from being in a band with guys who don't want to hear. They want to hear, the groove and the song, and not just the groove. You want appropriate fills, and you want setups, And a lot of the people that we reference more than anyone are like Charlie and Ringo and Levon Helm is another one. Like
right.
that dude. I mean, you see him doing inserting rudiments,
Right.
but they never jump out and hit smooth.
Yeah, I guess we don't like. I don't think about it as much as maybe I should. Like from a drummer to guitar player perspective, like I can respect a good solo, but for the most part, if we're playing a standard, you know, easy rock tune or a pop song,
Yeah.
I don't want a guitar solo in the middle of the verse.
Right.
I don't want a wild little run before the bridge section.
Yeah.
I want there to be, if there's a guitar solo, there's a guitar, and if there's not, I don't even think about it.
Yeah.
So maybe it's the same thing from their perspective to us, is like, what are you doing back there?
Yeah.
You know.
Well, kid, my situation is pretty funny because my singer, Steve, he's the main primary songwriter, plays rhythm guitar. He and we met in drum class in 7th grade.
Oh yeah.
We were in Safety Harbor Middle School, and
wow.
we were both drummers. Now, I didn't have a drum set. Steve did.
Okay.
And he had some the Color Sound Peisty cymbals, which eventually I ended up buying from him.
Wow.
But he was a drummer, so he doesn't even realize this, but I'm telling you, when he writes tunes, like he and I lock, like our right hands, right, hi-hats, his right hand, lock pretty solid. And I've always told him, I'm telling you, man, it's because you played drums.
Yeah, yeah.
He understands syncopation and playing off of the beat. A lot of people don't get that.
No, and that's so cool for you to have that, because that's an unconscious, it's a subconscious and conscious fight that I feel like we all have with bandmates. Is a lot of guys can play piano, a lot of guys can sing, can play guitar, and then you get them in their own music. You get them in the studio, you turn the click on, and it's, what are you doing? All over the place. It would be really cool to have that where the other guys in the band, one or two of them are also drummers, because then you know they're going to have their stuff together. I mean, and in your situation, it's not just them playing in time, but it's how they come up with parts. Like you're saying, like, this feels good to you, you're locking in with him because he's a drummer. Or has a drum background, I should say.
Yeah, and he doesn't, he's not he doesn't necessarily like all the fancy drummers that we like, but rhythmically he gets it. Like he feels it. It's easy, like, to lock with that.
That's something I never thought about that with you guys, and I do notice, and I remember, I'm sure you still do it. When it comes to locally and whatnot, you're kind of interesting because you're one of the only guys I've ever seen at a gig where you have a metronome attached to your hi-hat. And I think you told me before that you pretty much use it just to start the song, right? You don't have it like in your ears; it's just there.
Sometimes.
Oh, you do have it in your ears?
It depends. Sometimes, I'll be honest, man. I love playing to a metronome.
That's great.
Love it. And what it does is whether people like it or not, a lot of times they don't. It doesn't lie. It doesn't lie. It doesn't have, it doesn't have anything else. It's just that. It's just the time.
It's unbiased.
Yeah. So to me, it's like if you get people think, oh, if you play with a metronome, you play stiff. Go watch Keith Carlock, man. Watch him play to a metronome. You think that's stiff? You think Vinnie Colaiuta? It's grooving like crazy.
Benny
yeah. They're all playing to clicks.
Yeah.
So
Maybe
it comes to this. If in order to play, like especially in a recording studio, you have to, whether you're a bass player, or guitar player, or whatever, you have to be able to let that not freak you out.
Yeah, right.
And play to it. All it is. Someone who I forget who this was, said, just imagine, I forget who said this, but imagine the metronome is just a percussion player in the band hitting a cowbell with perfect time. Just play to him.
That's it. I mean,
and after a while, as a drummer, you get used to it. It takes a little while. At first, when I first bought a metronome and tried to play just one of those, not one of these fancy ones, just a little one.
Yeah.
Dude, I almost returned it. I was like, this thing's broken.
It's wrong.
It's totally wrong.
Well, the metronome, I find myself, I've always kind of done this from back in the day when I first started recording with one. It was probably 2008, 2009, where I prefer that when the metronome, let's say it's a song in 4/4, I like it where there's no accents. Every beep is the same.
Sure.
There's no accent on the one accent, and I was kind of forced to have to do that because the band that I've recorded with the most the singer slash songwriter, he likes to accidentally, he will have a bar of 5 randomly in the song, a bar of 3, and you be playing with the accent on the 1, and then by the time you get to that section,
flips it around.
the accent's now permutated to the next beat, and it was like, at first it threw me off, so I said, hey, let's just turn that off.
Right.
Or if we go in double time or whatever, I just like it better if it's just a standard. And what I found doing that,
Do you use quarter notes or 8 notes?
it kind of depends. It just, I mean, I actually like to have a click that's more double timed rather than subdivided, just because I don't know why. It's maybe it's, but it really just depends the feel of the song. If the feel of the song is a bit slower, then I will kind of subdivide it and I'll have a quarter note feel or an 8th note. But I like it where I can control the accent. So I'm not. So maybe that's a problem with some guys. If they have a click that's like beep 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 beep, they're relying on that one too much.
Yeah.
Where when I have it where it's all the same, it's like I decide if I want to put the bass drum on 1 or 2 or the and of 2. I'm deciding that.
Yeah.
It's not locking me in. And then also playing with the sound of the click, especially as you record more, you can have a softer click. You can have a clave, you know. But you are right. It tells you how you really are, at least from a timing perspective.
Well, and think about it.
You know,
it's never had an extra cup of coffee before a gig or an extra shot of whatever or a beer. It's just perfect.
Yeah.
So if you can practice no matter what instrument,
Yeah.
just practice it a half an hour a day, and then it's nothing. It's
No.
nothing. And actually, like, I love playing to it more so than the last couple of years. To be honest, I've spent less time with a click and less time like with my syncopation book and all that, just playing drums for the last probably the last 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
I just went away, but I kind of keep my books around as like reminders of like, oh yeah, because I taught lessons for so many years,
Right.
that these pages are ingrained in my head.
Yeah.
Right.
Even though you're not physically doing it mentally, that's why I said
I'll reference it. I'll reference it. To just kind of put it in, you know, in my practice to keep me. If I'm just jamming, if I'm just playing drums by myself, no click, no music, I'm just playing drums, right? I'll have my books kind of randomly around on a music stand or next to me, and I'm like, oh yeah, and syncopation, page 33, right?
Yeah.
Or things like that. But
Interesting. I think it's a lost art. A lot of people focus on chops. People focus on odd timing, but I think 2 things that are really overlooked on drummers is tuning and metronome.
I'm not the best at tuning.
No?
No.
It's an art, man.
You know why? Because I'm always when I get there to practice, I'm like, all right, I have an hour.
Yeah.
I want to practice. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't want to sit here like I'd rather, and it's an excuse. I should really work on that.
Right.
But to me, I'm like, man, I only got an hour. I want to play these drums. I don't want to mess with them tuning and it's
Well, that's the beauty of things like zero rings and moon gel and sometimes you can just get away with going, you know what, I'm popping this thing on here.
Yeah.
And as we said earlier, sometimes when you're playing the song, it's virtually impossible to tell that the 10-inch or the bass drum is a little bit out of tune.
Yeah.
You just whatever, but
yeah, I would use the drum dial back in the day. That was
the drum dial.
Yeah, I would just use that, and from there it would get me to
Good
where
enough.
I wanted. Yeah, like real close.
Yeah.
And then from there, if I wanted to tweak it, I would tweak it. But I didn't want to spend my whole hour. If I only had an hour, you know, let's see.
Yeah.
To me, my concept is you want to improve the sound of your drums, practice them.
Right.
Practice them. Of course, you work on tuning them, but
yeah, the biggest defining factor of like people say like John Bonham, like, oh, John Bonham had a microphone here, or where was the displacement, or what kind of bass drum. The reason why John Bonham sounded the way he does because of John Bonham, of how he played the drums. Of course, everything matters.
And they said he was very good at tuning though.
I'm sure. Yeah, he did. He had a very iconic sound.
And young. He knew this stuff like when he was young, like 19, 20 years old.
Yeah.
He knew like, hey, we're gonna tune the bass drums up high.
Right.
Huge bass drum, tune it up high. Like,
well, he was a session guy. Like him. I don't know if you saw the movie. It just came out.
yes,
like,
it was awesome.
I didn't realize they were all session guys.
No, I knew Jimmy Page and John Paul Jones.
But that's what happens like, when you play so damn much, and then you have to do the standards, and you get in the mode of doing things, and then once it becomes your full-time gig, it's like, what the hell else are you doing other than drinking? But which is a good segue, actually. Another question I want to ask you is, I'm 36. I'm about to be 37. I started playing out like professionally, like making money, playing out around town when I was 16.
Wow.
And I didn't know the 10 years before me what the local scene was like, but then I saw the evolution of it, and now after moving around the country and coming back to town in late 2021, seeing how the music scene has changed so much. If you were hitting it in the late 90s,
Yep.
and then you were hitting it in the early mid 2000s, and then when I first met you, what do you think is the biggest differences from the late 90s gigging to now 2025, about to be 2026, in just the local scene? What is the big differences that you've seen?
Way more original bands back then, and way more original clubs.
Yeah.
Now, even just like I kind of got in at the end of like when we had a great scene here. I'm probably a couple of years too young to remember.
Yeah.
But like 80s through the 90s, I mean, there was, even when I started playing, I started gigging in 92.
Wow.
But Jason Karen, now he would remember because he was already playing. He would be able to tell you. There was live music around here 7 nights a week. Tampa, Clearwater, St. Pete, all around.
Yeah.
Original
music, because there is live music every night, but it's not.
And you would
original.
see bands like Bleeding Hearts and Stranger and these bands.
Wow.
Dude, it was like going to a concert. You go to Wednesday night, you see Stranger, and you know there's 1,000 people there.
Wow.
Do you remember ML Chasers?
No.
No, that was across from Gasoline Alley.
Yeah. I remember Boomers.
Yeah.
Remember Boomers in Seminole?
Yeah.
You know, or State Theater, which it's something now. It's a Floridian or whatever it's called. But there has been, again, there is, especially I live in Gulfport, and when you go downtown Gulfport, it's had a renaissance. Like now, every night I go down there, there's 3 or 4 musical acts, but they're often like a guy with a guitar.
You know Paul Anthony?
I don't know Paul Anthony.
He plays down here a lot.
Yeah.
I played with him for a while.
I do think there's a lot more DJs than there ever was.
Yes.
And then there's guys that will show up and they have a full rig.
And why do you think that is?
It's cheaper.
It's cheaper, but think about this. Think about the age of people going to a bar. Okay.
Yeah.
How old are you when you go to a bar?
Probably 21.
Exactly. Did they grow up listening to the Stones and Led Zeppelin? And they grew up listening to what?
From Beyonce or Rihanna or Eminem, whatever.
Yeah, all stuff that's programmed.
Maybe
they don't care about. Dude, the conversations that I've overheard just hanging out, watching bands play down the beach, like when I'm off, just hearing like the kids outside in their 20s.
Right.
Let's go somewhere where they got real music, you know, like a DJ. And I'm like, oh my god.
Well, let me pivot this way though, and maybe bring some positivity to the conversation though. So when I was in high school, when I was a freshman in high school, I was 13 years old, 14 years old, and was really into basketball, and I'd only been playing drums for a couple of years at this point. And the bands that I listened to at that age were like Linkin Park, Korn, System of a Down, you know, and I was kind of in like a gothic kind of vibe. Yeah. Even though I grew up on Zeppelin and things like that, now I had gotten to my own thing, right? Well, now cut to 21, 22, 23 years later, my niece just turned 14. She has been obsessed with Korn for like 2 years.
Really?
She loves. We went to Orlando, took her to see Weezer.
Yeah.
She loves System of a Down. I'm like, really?
Wow.
So, and it does seem like some of this stuff is cyclical. So I wonder.
Yeah, and there always have been. I've noticed anyway.
Yeah.
There are those kids who kind of
they deviate,
right? Or like I was saying, all right, I was the youngest of 6, so my brothers and sisters were listening to records. Right, like my sister had Frampton Comes Alive, the double Frampton album.
Yeah.
She had Led Zeppelin 2.
Wow.
My brothers had Black Sabbath and Boston and Foreigner records. So as a young kid, I was listening to that. Like your niece is listening to stuff that's like, oh, right? Yeah. So there are people that are going to do that. I wish there were more of them.
Yeah, I wish there were more too, and I wish it was. I mean, I try not to be like an old-minded person, and you want to evolve with the times. However, it seems like the original scene has shrinking, and then not even just the original scene musically, like music stores, like
Well, that's it. It's
like,
not being like,
dude, it's
not like we're trying to be
these are
negative or being a downer. If you're a drum company, you're a guitar company, whatever it is, you want these kids to play music
Right.
and keep it going,
yeah.
right? Because they're just buying, if they're just buying like, oh, DJ gear, and let me just set up a YouTube
Right.
channel, and that's cool, I get it,
Yeah.
but you want these kids to be into
Right.
music played by musicians.
It's a cool. It's an art that, you know. It's not a transcendent thing. Like look, the drums set drums. Okay, a drum and any version of a drum is like a deity. There's been drums as long as there's been people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a drum is probably, other than like some sort of flute, a drum is the oldest instrument, right?
Yeah.
But a drum set is only 100. The drum set as we know it is probably 110 years old, maybe. So it's not an old thing, and the fact that it's now already being reduced to program drums, AI now, so it's not something that's been around for a long time. So the fact that it's already being squeezed out, but
Sure.
because there's percussion, I do wonder, will it surge again in 15 years?
I hope so.
You know, but even again, music stores. Like when I was a kid,
Yeah.
there was Bringy music.
Oh my gosh.
Remember Bringy, Sam Ash, Seminole music, for Christ's sakes, All Pro Percussion, AJ's. I mean, there's a lot more I could. And now there's Guitar Center.
And drum clinics.
Right, what happened to clinics, man? God, those things were so. I mean, that was a cool.
Well, John Spinelli does. He has them at his shop.
Spinelli does still love John. Spinelli. I'm actually doing a cymbal clinic with him November 1st.
Oh, cool.
There's some boutique company, Sentent Cymbals.
Okay.
Doing like an
Yeah,
expo.
John's great, man. He promotes all this stuff.
John's great, and I wonder what's life going to be like after Spinelli. You know, what's that going to be like in 20, 30 years from now when this, hopefully a lot longer, I'm just saying, like when the Spinellis and the Jason Karens and, you know, and then like guys like me and Matt Pointner and JT, like we're going to be the older guys, and are they still going to be playing? I hope so. I mean, we love this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it's an art, and which kind of segues me in the next question is like, where do you see live music going? Not to be a downer.
No, I don't know. I hope it
Yeah.
has a huge resurgence. Honestly,
Yeah.
nothing like it. Nothing replaces it.
No, but we can't. Is there anything that we can do to take it there, or no? It's
You
just
got to. The people at the top have to promote it to kids. Make it
Yeah.
cool. It is cool, man. It's
It
the coolest
is.
thing in the world playing an instrument.
yeah, I think so. But
And it's also great to get away from, you know,
Oh
this
my God.
phone. Just go do something other than look at a phone for like 15 hours a day. I'm guilty of it,
I'm
right?
guilty.
The whole world is. But
Oh my God.
an instrument, like,
Right.
you get in there and just turn this thing off, honestly,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
just take an hour.
I didn't have a cell phone until I turned 18,
Wow.
and I'm born in '89.
Yeah.
So which, you know, 90s we didn't have them, but I was late to the game, and it wasn't an iPhone.
I'd
was a
be
flip
fine with not having this thing anymore.
If I wasn't so into doing like drum videos and stuff like this, I would throw the thing in the garbage. But and I don't have social. I don't even have Facebook.
Yeah, I noticed that.
I freaking hate it, man. What's what? So I can go on there and pretend.
Yeah.
I just and I'm not
Well,
trying
anymore, it's just more than anything. It used to be really cool.
Yeah.
Anymore now, you look on there, all it is it's just a personal advertisement company to you, to each person. Oh, this is what you like. This is what you like.
Yeah. It's what do they?
It's not what it was.
What do they call that? It's like a how do you say?
What, the algorithms?
It's no, yes, but it's like if you want to bolster your position, it can be anything. It can be politics, and it could be sports teams. It could be avocados. Oh, I love the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
You go online, everywhere you go online, they're going to reassure you that the Dallas Cowboys are the best football team.
Yeah.
And why even search? Why are they not good? You're never going to search that, and your algorithm is never going to tell you to do that.
Right.
But then someone else's algorithm says, "Oh, Cowboys are terrible," and it's like it's tailored to that. And and also it's like TikTok. And I go on there. I tried making one for my channel, and in all due reality, I don't know what it is, but for some reason, I swear to God, TikTok is basically just porn.
I don't have an account.
Dude, it is. I go on there, and as soon as you log in, it just cuts to a video. There's no it's just like an auto reel, and it's just like girl after girl after girl.
See, I never got
It's
TikTok.
just-
I never got Instagram. I think I signed up for an account for Instagram, but
Yeah, I'm missing
honestly,
out.
man, I'd rather just be playing drums.
If you don't need to do it, and if it's not in your culture,
Yeah.
it's like whatever. And I understand the whole idea of I'm on Facebook because my family. It's like. But
Yeah, for that part, it's cool. There's definitely benefits.
Yeah.
There's definitely benefits, but for the most part, basically back to what you were saying about music, is we're all distracted.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Before, this was a distraction for us, right? And it took time, and when a lot of people, when I was teaching a lot of students, full time teaching, parents would ask me, "Oh, how long does it take to get good?" Well, you can't answer that question. Every kid is different, or adult, is different.
Mm-hmm.
And also this: how much time is a kid putting in?
Right. How much are you willing to?
Have you seen that Benny Greb book that he?
Of course.
The green one.
Yeah. It's
Like the Musician's Guide to Practicing. Or
something along that. Yeah. Essentials to practice or whatever.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. So for years, I had some students that I would talk about certain things with, like my adult students, who one guy would be in tech, or one guy would be in tech or really good with computers, and I would have certain ideas and about practicing, because that's like a big topic for me that I've always been obsessed with, is how people practice.
You could tell.
What if you go into a practice room like Weckel or Dave Reinhardt or any of these guys I look up to,
wow.
What do you do when you go in there? What's your
Yeah.
I would love to sit in the room just and watch Weckel. And recently he's been talking about it.
Yeah.
Is lately he does the same thing. He just goes and plays his drums. Right.
Yeah.
Like Nick Weber. Right. Look how Nick Weber, monster. And always, that dude was he was badass when he was 16. I saw him. He was 16, and he had a big Pearl kit. It was before he had his Yamaha.
Yeah.
And I walked in. He was playing somewhere in Oldsmar, and I was like, "Who is this kid?"
Right.
Phenomenal. But if you ever see how Nick practices, it's just all organic.
I love Nick. Nick's my favorite. One of my favorite people in general, and I got to be good friends with him. And
He's a good dude.
I was joking around. Serious. I was joking around. I was like, I really do believe he's the best drummer in the Bay.
It's phenomenal.
And the same thing I love about him is the thing that bands don't like about him, is that he don't give a damn. He's gonna play that song the way he wants to play it, because he don't need to play it. He's got a full-time job.
And the thing is, dude, that video that you did last week, I watched it, and you're right. When you were talking about him grooving, his groove is killer.
Right.
His groove is killer.
No,
and the feel is ridiculous.
Right.
Now, but he's got so many, his vocabulary is insane.
Right.
But to me, with Nick, it's always blown me away. It's just watching him is that stream of consciousness practice that he does. He just sits down and just goes.
Yeah.
He'll go for fucking hours.
Oh, I've sat there for 20 minutes. I'm like, this guy's not getting out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go sit out there, get a glass of water. I come back, he's still doing some wild, and
I saw him do something at Frenchie's one time. Yeah. I was off that night, and I think I had just walked down there, and he was playing. I forget who he was playing with, and I remember he had a little set of 10-inch hi-hats over here on his right, or he brought something extra.
That sounds about right.
Dude, he did something like you were saying, like a Tom Petty song or something. Just my head was spinning. I'm like, how the hell did you just pull that off?
No, what I love about Nick, and I get it with a lot of guys, by the way. Like I'm not blowing smoke. Like even you being in my drum room right now, man. you do some really cool things, and when I watch, I watch you do that, and I watch Nick Weber. To me, there's no difference between that and going to a drum clinic. Like, it's world class drumming, and the humility. Nick is extremely humble. When I hang out with him, I don't feel less than him. Hang out with you, I don't feel there's not a
Most drummers
ego.
are cool. That's the
Drummers are
deal.
cool.
Most drummers are extremely cool.
Because we're all borrowing stuff. We're all
Sure.
it's like Jason had this funny thing. Jason Karen, he said, he's like, a lot of guys, they come out to the gig or you got to see them and they're like, man, how's it sound back there, man? How do I sound? And Jason's like, it sound good. And then it's like, well, okay, here's $10. Like, let me get a how do I really sound? Jason's like, your left hand's a little sloppy. But there's so many good, there's so many great, and I was so lucky that when I was really getting into it, I kind of forced myself to because I was in the metal scene, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I grew up playing in like church and coffee houses and stuff like that, and whoever would give me a gig, black tie events, and then my brother and I got into the metal scene, and I thought I was the man, and I realized quickly that I wasn't. And then I got out of the metal scene, and I didn't even realize you could play drums the way that people are doing it with one pedal. I was like, what is this crap? And I started watching guys like Spinelli and you, and I'm like, holy crap. And I got humbled really fast. And I realized a lot of the great guys around here are like that. Even Reinhardt. Like, I took one of Reinhardt's gigs.
Yeah.
The band Level 10, he recorded the album, and then Kenny Suarez did a couple of tracks, and then there's a couple other guys, and then I got the gig because I don't know if you know the drummer Frank Abrami. You know Frank?
Yeah.
He was a big friend of my family's, and one day Frank's like, hey, I got the audition for Level 10, and I'm like, oh, Frank, that's awesome, you're great. And Frank's like, yeah, but I want you to do it. I was like, I'm not a Latin drummer at the time, and he's like, no, you could do it. He's like, I could see you do all those single stroke bullshit. He's like, and he's like, just go do it. I was like, all right. So I got in touch with the guy, and they sent me the songs, and they were Reinhardt's parts.
Wow.
And I was like,
good luck.
I was like, yo, and I learned the songs, and I got there, and I got the gig, and it got me closer to Dave, and I.
Were you old enough? Do you remember Norm's place on Gulf to Bay?
No, I don't think so. No, probably
So
not.
that was, you were born in '89. Now you were.
Yeah.
No, it was a little bit before. So in the '90s, not to cut you off.
No, it's okay.
So Norm's place now it's like the Monkey Bar or something.
Okay.
It's on Gulf to Bay, but at the time, Dave and Ron, their
Right.
father owned. He was in business.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, I think he was like half owner of the bar.
Wow.
And every Monday, they would play. Their band was called the Cave Dwellers.
Okay.
And there's stuff on YouTube where they played at Musicology like back in 2012. So they would play every Monday. Now this was kind of like, this was back to that page. Your questions about my influences.
Yeah.
Right, because during the '90s, it all kind of changed from all the stuff that I had grown up with, the Motley Crue and all that,
Yeah.
to more like serious, like Reinhardt, and
Yeah.
Weckel, and Steve
The
Gadd.
fusion guys and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
So I would go every Monday night. Dave and Ron would play with the Cave Dwellers.
Wow.
And dude, it was like
It's phenomenal. Game changer.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Every Monday. I mean, I don't think I missed. I think in 1997 I did not miss a Monday.
Really?
Yeah, I think I went, and then there was a couple of times where they weren't even there because they used to tour. They would play, and then every Monday they would be back. And then you talk to Dave, and he's like, "Oh, we were in Alaska, or we were wherever." But sometimes they were out, and they would have like a fill-in band play, and I would still be there.
Yeah. Just watching.
Just watching. I mean, like for free, sitting there, 10 feet away from the heaviest, like.
You don't get much better than Dave Reinhardt.
No.
I mean,
No.
he is Weckel, Joe Rosenblatt. Reinhardt's
Right there.
So was Nick Weber.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think
Third.
I just saw him a few weeks ago. Great. Here's the thing. I say this a lot, and it sounds like a Hallmark thing, but it's the reality. I personally believe at the end of the day, the best drummer in the world is the drummer that knows the song. Because if I turned on whatever Sum 41 right now and said, play that song, we would sound like jackasses on it. We mustered through it, but not really. That guy's slaying that song.
Sure. Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
And it could be that, it could be Dave Weckl. If you know the song, like even seeing you play this song today, like Empty Spaces, right? Look, I could record that song tonight and it would be totally fine, right? But if you don't know it, and then seeing you on it and you played it for years and you know every stop and you know you can articulate and sitting in that groove of the song when you know it, it's like, and I geek out when I see, it could be anybody, and I see them on the drum set on the song and I don't know the song yet. And I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing, and I realize it is amazing, but more than that, it's because they know it, and when you know it, and it's just inspiring to me, and I've always loved that, and I've loved it. It's changed over the years, as we said, but I loved that when I was coming up, I forced myself to, and I would say, ask Tanner, next time you see Tanner, I used to go out there, and I swear to God to you, I would literally be on the side of the stage, and I'd watch him for the whole entire night.
Yeah, me too.
And Tanner's a very underrated drummer. He's not doing anything flashy, but he feels every freaking beat in his face, and he's got the look, and he fucking every fill. I love him, and I used to just go and I go watch Jason. Like, this guy's a clock, man. And then I get my buddies, Matt Pointer.
Dude, there's so many good drummers.
Oh,
there's so many.
Third, and then even the gospel guys. Like when I was coming, I used to go to GC Clearwater, and I used to piss those guys, Reno and Lester. Yeah. And I used to piss some guys off because I'd go in there and I'd be, I'm trying to play drums, and they'd be trying to make a phone call. And they're like, can you shut up? And I'm like, I'm trying. And then we became friends. But there's so many, as you said, there's so many great players, and there's no room for humility. I don't know if I've really met a really, really heavy hitter who has an ego. If I did, I wouldn't mention him, but I can't name a single one.
I think most guys are pretty cool.
They're all cool, man.
Drummers. Drummers.
Emphasize drummer. Yeah. Well, again, you have to be. I feel like if you want to be working.
Every drummer I know, everyone I know, we all pick each other's brains. Hey man, what the hell was that you just did? That was cool as shit. Yeah. Right.
And they're willing to tell it.
Right.
They're willing to be like, well, here's how I got.
It's always been that way.
Yeah.
Because if you remember, did you go to any of the with Dom Famulero, all the drum expos we had here?
Yeah. Down Clearwater.
In Tampa.
Okay. There was one.
They did one at the K-Pop. Yeah. Right. Thoroughbred.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would do they would have some things there.
I went to so many drum. You know what my first drum clinic was, man? It was AJ's back in like 2003 or something. It was Kenny Aronoff.
Oh yeah.
And
that guy hits the snare drum harder than.
Right. Oh my god. But I was amazed, and then I saw so many clinics. Benny Greb, Marco.
Where at AJ's?
All Pro Percussion. And Seminole Music.
All Pro was over in Brandon?
Yeah, East Adamo, 301, whatever.
Yeah, I saw Keith Carlock there.
I was there. Cool. Me and Spinelli went there with Casey.
Yeah, that's right.
I saw Thomas Pridgeon.
Yeah.
You know what blew my mind was Tommy Igo.
Yeah.
I had no idea. And so many great, and again, I feel like at that level and the local level, there's the same thing. There's a sharing aspect with drummers, there's a humility. Everyone has their abilities. And then you get these freaks of nature, like the Nick Webbers of the world, that just, blow your socks off, and I love it. And
now Nick is really good at sound, right?
He's a sound engineer.
His drum, right? But all along, since he was young, his drums always sounded ridiculous, dialed in.
Because, as we said earlier, he was one of these guys where he wasn't just geeking out over drums. He was like, I want to learn how to record. And he always would tell, and I feel bad, I didn't listen until recently. He'd always be like, you got to record yourself. Go buy some microphones. And I was like, nah, man. Yeah. I'm a drummer, man. I don't know. Yeah. The reality was I just didn't know how to do it.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't want to, but look, You're right there with the best of them, and again, you've been probably a bigger influence on me than you even know. So I appreciate
Thanks.
that. And one of the last things I want to ask you about was the drums, the snare drum, the Ludwig
Oh yeah.
thing, because I know you're big on that. I've seen your videos with that.
Yeah.
So
I just do you know Shane Worth, drummer up in Dunedin? Shane Worth got me. Kind of, it's a long story, but he introduced me to Bill Ludwig III. Okay.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, and so super nice guy. I met his family and all that, and I have a few of his drums,
Right.
and they're phenomenal. I mean, I've only been playing them about a year.
Okay.
I have the one that I brought today, which is brass.
Is that a 6-inch or a 6.5?
I think that is. I think that might be
5.5?
5.5.
Really?
I think
Okay.
So
14 by 5.5 brass.
yeah, and then I have mahogany, which is I almost brought all of them, but I just
Should have.
let me just grab one.
Yeah.
So, and then I have another, it's an aluminum, so basically it's the same drum that John Bonham would play.
Right.
If I have this information right, it's like that LM402, that old Ludwig 402.
That's the one. Yeah.
Right.
That's it.
So, but it doesn't look like an aluminum drum. It's blue sparkle. So they figured
I've
out a
seen
way.
that.
Yeah, they figured out a way to
Make it
like
look.
to do these finishes. The finishes
Is it a
are
wrap or is it painted?
paint.
It's an epoxy paint
It's
finish,
beautiful,
probably.
beautiful.
Wow.
His drums are. I don't think they do wraps. I think it's they're all
And they're called WFL.
WFL3.
WFL3, and that stands for.
William Ludwig the Third.
What's the F? Is that his middle name?
Middle name, yeah.
Frank or something? Whatever.
Yeah, because if you remember, before Ludwig drums, it was WFL drums.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, it was WFL, and then I believe it became Ludwig.
But what's before Ludwig? Like, what year were we
No,
talking
that's
about?
it, man. That's
1600?
That's what I'm saying. That's just Bill's. Like you were saying, yeah, the drums are only this old. It was him. It was his family
Wow.
who invented all this stuff we're talking about. They invented
How does Ludwig corporate as an entity? How do they feel about that?
I don't know.
I can't
have no
imagine
idea.
great.
I don't know. No clue. But
Now, does Bill
hmm
William, does he do full kits?
yeah, they're gorgeous.
Why don't you have one yet?
I think I will be getting one soon.
Are you getting one or are you purchasing one?
I'll probably
You'll contribute?
yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
yeah.
That
That's cool, man.
but yeah, that Shane Worth he just
Wow.
he just bought one, and there's, I mean they're nice, man.
Yeah.
There's tons of videos on YouTube.
Yeah. They look beautiful. The one you played today cracks like a son of a gun.
Oh yeah.
It's got a good look to it. You know, good body. And, you know, look, drums are at the end of the day. All the companies make great stuff.
Well,
You
what's
know?
cool to me, like I love all the old vintage stuff in theory, right?
Mhm.
And I love how they sound. I love how they look. But when you're playing, right?
Mhm.
When you're playing a drum, especially if you hit kind of hard,
Right.
dude, I would much rather have a newer drum than have a drum
Oh yeah.
that's okay. It looks badass. It's 60 years old, and all night long it's sliding away from me.
Have you seen the bass drum spurs on those kits? First of all, they're coming out of the side of the drum.
Yeah.
Looks like a damn TV.
Yeah. So like
No, it's terrible.
Bill's drums basically have that vintage look.
Right.
You can get at basically any finish you want. He'll do it for you custom. And then like you saw, he's got that trick throw off. So you have 3 different settings on its snare.
Yeah.
It's all modern, but you can, if you want a drum set to play like a modern set and look like it's from the 60s, that's what he has.
Without having to have the problems.
And he's using a lot of those old like
Mhm.
formulas from the original Ludwig days.
Yeah, because that's something that drummers and maybe drummer geeks don't understand is that all the like you said, the vintage things are the old Ringo kit, the old Bonham kit. What you don't know is those kits were falling apart. They were, man, they were talking about using sandbags to hold bass drums on stage, ironing claws to keep the things from moving around. I mean, even Buddy Rich, you've seen Buddy Rich cymbal stands?
Yeah.
Dude, they look like pencils. And that's probably what they felt like. So no, you're right. The modern era of drums, you can go and spend $1,500 today, and you get a new drum kit, and it hardware-wise, it blows everything out
Oh, I know.
water.
It's
In
amazing.
the 70s.
It's amazing. They're all making good stuff.
So WFL drums.
WFL3.
FL3, and that's that is Ludwig.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
I wonder.
Yeah.
When you first told me about it, I felt like, how is this working? But hearing the story now, but I do wonder, like, what's his relationship with Ludwig as a greater company?
I don't know.
Because it's his family.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, but they sold. I believe they sold years ago.
I wonder why not keep him in the loop, but that's another whole
I
other
don't know.
thing.
No idea. But what he's doing is you know, like Spinelli. Spinelli makes phenomenal drums. You know.
I have one of his kits in there right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it that? Which
It's
color is it?
it's orange sparkle.
Oh.
It's all North American shells, thin ply maple shells. It's a epoxy orange sparkle finish, and it's a 12 by 6 rack.
Oh, nice.
And a 16 by 14 floor.
Okay.
And then I have a white marine snare that goes with it, and then a 22 by 15 kick. And John's drums are awesome, and they're really cool with the tuning system that he's got on there. Easy to tune. You know, they're great.
Yeah, they sound amazing. I've seen them.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. So these guys, John, Bill, they're making drums with this like killer hardware.
Yeah.
Great sounding drums that are sturdy.
Right. And
that's the main thing for me. Like,
yeah, I don't know if they're going to sell to the masses. Like, you know, you're not going to see them on Sweetwater anytime soon, probably. But maybe.
never know, man. I don't know. But the one thing I wanted to touch on before, because you made a joke in that last video.
Oh no.
You're like, Chilton probably has goddamn stick control right next to him.
I got it in there. Did you see it
Right?
there?
I saw it.
Okay.
So here's the one. I just brought a couple books.
I wasn't kidding about that. That was not a joke.
What's funny is I was just going to show you. Way more than stick control.
Progressive Steps
is syncopation.
Progressive. That's my favorite book.
That is my favorite book.
Oh, that's the best book.
That book.
Yeah, dude.
I spent much more time in this than I have stick control.
Yeah.
Because this is all based like on rhythm, right?
Oh,
Whereas those are exercises. They're great. I love that book, and I used to use that a lot for teaching. But this even more because you can, there's ways to use them both together too.
Yeah, but this one you can really use on the drum kit.
Exactly.
I used to sit there and
it's funky.
Just
like
do grooves with it. Yeah,
exactly. It's really.
Yeah.
Have you?
This book got me into doing a lot of dotted eighth notes.
Yes.
On the bass drum. Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yep.
So.
Drummer's Complete Vocabulary by Alan Dawson.
Yeah, and by John Ramsey is the author of this book.
John Ramsey,
So Alan Dawson's method was he had like 40 ways or more to use this book, and I've had this book for 25 years.
Really?
This is probably
Oh my God.
Yeah, and it's like
It's your Bible.
It's my Bible, but I mean, most of this stuff, like,
It's cheese, man.
it's what I'm saying is I've had it for 25 years. I could spend another 100 in this and not have it done. You know what I mean? So it's like, as far as things to practice, and then back to what Benny Greb, his book was how to organize all this crap. Because now with these phones and all this technology, it's like, it's overwhelming, man. You see 500 drum videos a day, or where the hell do I start?
But you know what, though, but here's the beauty of this, though. There's no room for excuses, right? Like, if you could sit on the couch and you could binge watch the first season of Severance for 12 hours, you can go in the room for 25 minutes, and you can work on accent, parallel, just do a parallel. Accent the first beat, accent the last. There's beautiful ways to micromanage your time. So when you said earlier, when a parent comes in and says, well, how long is it going to take for little Timmy here to be able to play a song at church on Sunday? It could be next week. That's what it was for me. Like, I literally sat the very first time. I sat behind a drum kit, and then 2 weeks later they needed a drummer in the youth band, and I did it. Who knows how the hell it sounded? But it's like, if you can sit there for 20 minutes a day, hell, I give you 10. And matter of fact, and you can even displace it. The first 10 minutes, don't look at any books, just freestyle.
Yeah.
And then for 10 minutes, go. I'm just gonna practice. You know, with a click, I'm gonna do 2 and 4, and then dotted eighth notes every other bar on the bass drum.
Yeah.
And then that's all you're fucking doing.
Yeah.
And micromanage your time. And you're right. You can take the syncopation book. Dude, the fact that me and you are still using this book, well, like at the end of the day, that shows me how much you love. You have such passion for drums that a guy like you still has this book, and you still work because you don't need to do this. You don't need.
I love to do it.
You love to do it.
I get bummed out, honestly, like when I don't get to practice. When I get really like bummed out, and I mean it's good to take breaks, obviously, but lately it's just been going. Yeah, lately it's been going more in waves. Like I'll get a good weekend, and then the next week it's like, oh my gosh, I got 500 things to do, and I can't even catch 15 minutes.
Sometimes just sitting in the car and listening to things and then catching it with your ear is just as good. And so I guess we'll wrap it up there. I had a great time with you today.
Yeah, man.
It doesn't feel like it's been.
Dude, we could do a whole nother one on the classic drum books.
I would honestly, I would love to have you back whenever you want to come back and do another video. Again. You know,
dude, I just get excited. I'm just looking at like page 34. I'm just like, after a while, I know you're trying to end the show.
No, it's cool. I don't care.
But after a while, man, you just look at these things and you hear it like, you can just see these rhythms and just, that's where, like you're saying, mainly, like on my steering wheel is where I get.
Bro, you want to know something? Listen to this. At the end of last year, around December 20th, I had back surgery. Lower back surgery, right? And going into the surgery, one of my buddies, he said, "Hey, 2025 is the year for music. 2025 is the year for music, man. Because we're writing an album." And I said, "Okay, yeah." I had the back surgery, and then my buddy Chris sold you the Yamaha kit. He gave me his Yamaha DTX. Since that happened, January 1st. To what is it, October 21st today, 22nd, or whatever.
Yeah.
I have recorded, humbly, like being a little bit conservative here, I've recorded probably 400 songs.
Jeez.
I've done 160 videos. I have been working, bro.
Wow.
And
good for you.
Just because I love it. And my buddy was told, and he had no idea. He was told. So this year has been such a renaissance, to use that word again, for me. Really getting back into it, and as we said earlier, like doing a lot of filming of myself and recording it and trying to fine tune it and bringing in, and then I'm buying more drum books and then doing things like this, having my drum friends and my heroes as we call them come back. I got Nick Weber coming over soon.
Cool. I
got JT coming in 2 weeks. Spinelli's gonna come by.
There you go.
And to me, it's practice, brother. Yeah. It's like, because I can
go... A lot of knowledge in those 4 guys' brains that you just mentioned.
I can go to, like, my buddy Chris. I love him. Chris will say things to me like, he's like, "Oh, Nico, the best drummer in the Bay." And I'm like, I feel like it, even just saying that, I'm like, bro, you're just saying that because you don't know my friends.
Dude, that's how I felt when you put me on that list. I was like, geez, man, thanks, but have you seen this dude, or have you seen this?
Everyone on that list is you know who blew me away on that list, like, honest to God, is Casey.
Oh my God, he's ridiculous.
Casey Grillo, man. Everyone's so good, man.
Dude, I did a very similar thing that we're doing like 6 years ago, and I just I did with Matt Pointer and Joe Murphy, and then I did with Casey, and somehow the footage I thought I lost, and I just recently found that it's.
Oh yeah.
My buddy who was helping me, it's in his computer.
Okay.
So eventually, I told Casey I'll get that stuff out.
Dude, get it.
But there's so many great. That's why I told Bill Ludwig that too. I said, Bill, I said, in this area, this Tampa Bay area, there are phenomenal drummers. Phenomenal.
And it's not,
and it's always been that way. I mean, since I can remember,
really?
Well,
when I moved to Nashville, I got plugged into like a drummers club because there was a buddy of mine who was playing the same cymbal company as me, and Sultone,
Mm-hmm.
and he took me to this drummer lunch, and it was like Rich Redmond was
Yeah.
there, a bunch of heavy hitters.
Yeah.
I was like, oh wow, but the reality was, as great as those guys are, man, there was no. It was not obvious to me that Nashville or Chicago or New York had better drummers than Tampa Bay. Not at all.
No.
At the end of the day, LA, at the end of the day, 40 years ago, I'll give you that. 40, 50 years ago, sure.
Yeah.
Not anymore, man. I don't. You go get you, Matt, and Nick Weber in a room. Well, who the hell else do you need in here?
Well, you know what? We were lucky in this area to have thoroughbred music. To have AJ, because he ran that and he built that.
He did.
That drum department over in Tampa. Then they expanded to Clearwater.
Yeah.
And dude, they would promote
K-pop
drums,
tree.
man. So your question, how do you keep it going? You got to have someone keeping this going.
Well, I think with guys
Spinelli's doing it.
Spinelli, you know Dave Hamar with his drummers lunch.
Yep.
Dave Hamar is great at it. Spinelli, and I wanna help out too, because, I don't know if you know Gary Michaels, Sasamoan. He's an audio engineer, but he was the sound guy for Spinelli back in the '80s when Spinelli was in Wise Guy. I was his band.
I think I know him.
And I met Gary through my parents. Rest in peace, a long time ago, when I was like 12 years old, and Gary used to give me stuff. Gary would come over to the house with Zildjian Aveda cymbals, drumsticks. He taught me how to tune my toms, and Gary would always give me things. And I think at the very minimum, that's what we can do. We can give back to each other, and to wrap it up, man. Like, again, you were always very nice to me and Ryan and the guys in my generation. We come out and see you, and I remember one time I was playing at Frenchie's, and you were down the street or doing some shit, and you ran over, and you were getting a drink after your gig, and you were hanging out with Cuddy and whoever, and all of a sudden you came up to me. We were playing like Everlong, I think is what it was, and we got done, and you just had such positive, like superlative things to say about me. It was so nice, and it was like, man, this guy is saying this, and because that's how I feel. I've always thought about you and your playing.
Thanks.
I always thought you were phenomenal, and again, that's what we all did, and I appreciate that. So at the very least, man, that's what I want to do, and it's authentic, man. I really believe all my drummer friends, man, are so phenomenal, and have influenced me.
Yeah, well, I mean, because I hate that, dude. I've hated being on a gig where you see someone out there who you know is a badass, right? And then it's like, what are you gonna freeze up because he's there? Like, just play the tune, man. Yeah. And then, because that I'm sure that's happened to all of us, right? You see it like, oh man. So like, if I was ever like any kind of influence, I don't want to be a jerk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, I was a drum teacher for so many years. Like, I never like that Whiplash movie. Like, I never did that.
It's terrible. I actually did. It's funny when guys like you or Spinelli or whoever would show up, I would actually kind of do the opposite.
Like better?
Like no. Well, I would do less on the drum kit.
Oh yeah.
Because I wouldn't want to catch myself like noodling around too much, especially if Jason was there.
Yeah.
And I used to sit in with Jason all the time, and like I was like, I'm not gonna hit a cymbal because I don't want him to, And I'd see you, and I'd be like, and I've noticed this is totally subconscious. I would see you, and all right, and the next thing I know, I'm like moving like you do. I'm like, what am I trying to emulate this bastard? And I was like, I am. I think it's just a normal thing when you have someone that you appreciate, and what do they say? What is it? Imitation is the greatest form of flattery.
Yeah.
And you want to be like those guys, and so that's a beautiful thing. Why don't you tell people where they can find you? By the way, is it Mike? I know you're on YouTube. Mike Drum Lessons or what the hell?
Yeah, I think Mike Chilton drums.
Mike Chilton drums. I'll link.
Yeah, I have a ton. I mean, I have not a ton. Not compared to like now, everybody's got so many videos. I don't know. I have maybe 20 or 30 videos on YouTube over the years. I don't keep up with it like I should.
Yeah. You should, man. Get back into it.
I know. This whole thing is like kryptonite to me, and it always has. Otherwise, I'm telling you, when I released those videos in 2009, that's what I wanted to do. I've been wanting to do that, since 2009. Wow. But life happens, man. It happened, and
well, get a Yamaha EAD. A lot of the stuff I do is film with an iPhone.
Pretty simple. Yeah.
Dude, you saw it today. simple. And
well, it's funny because before I could read a note, I couldn't read anything.
Yeah.
And so I did. I just dove into it full. Like you're saying about your surgery, my appendix burst while I was on a gig with Paul Anthony down there.
Really?
Yeah. So my appendix burst, and I was in the hospital for a week. And then after I got out of the hospital, I couldn't lift anything.
Yeah, of course not.
For over 5 pounds for I think 2 months.
Oh
So this is back when I couldn't read and my rudiments sucked.
Wow.
So not totally sucked, but I didn't have them like I wanted them.
Right.
So I'm like, all right. So for 2 months I can't play a gig. Am I just gonna sit and do nothing for 2 months? I'm like, well, what can I do? Got a metronome. This book, Syncopation, and that Buddy Rich Rudiment book, whatever that was.
Yeah, I forget.
And dude, and I slowed down because I wasn't like, oh, I got to learn this song for this gig next Thursday.
Yeah.
I had 2 months, and I just said, slow down and learn this stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's then I went to Glenn Meyer. I took some private lessons with a few guys.
Glenn's a freak, man. He's so awesome.
Yeah, and his jazz book was very helpful.
He's wrote
with
a lot of
reading.
books.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah,
He
man.
has.
Glenn
But
Meyer.
Glenn was one of my teachers as far as like he got me into this book.
The Art of Bop. Yes, he loves that.
Yeah, that's a phenomenal book.
You been to
Not
his
that I'm
house
a
up
big
there?
jazz drummer, but I practice just for facility. Also, this stuff like the comping exercises in here, like I said, I don't go play jazz gigs, but I've always kept this book around and worked on it just for facility and touch. But you can also take like some of the comping stuff, like the left hand comping exercises, and you play that with a backbeat, right? Like a halftime funk thing, and you start working in these, and dude, it's like
I know.
super funky stuff too.
It's fun just sitting in your drum shed with those books.
Oh,
and
man.
going through things and
Yeah.
and however you can, man. Practice, play the records, play the books.
That was my first thing.
Wow. Well, I'm super. Literally, even just sitting here talking about this stuff, it's inspiring that you don't just play drums for 30, 40 years, whatever it is. You're also continuing to work on things and
yeah, I wish I had more time to do it.
I know, me too.
If I could, like back in the day when I was teaching, it was I would go in. My lessons usually started around 2:00 in the afternoon until 9 at night. Like every day, man, for years. But then before, this is why I can't hear anymore. Before my lessons start, I'd go in and hit it for a couple hours.
Wow.
Practice, shower, go get something to eat, come back and meet my students, and we'd go until 9 o'clock at night.
Wow.
But that's where my head was with all this stuff, all these books.
Yeah.
It's kind of how I learned it, really.
Yeah.
Is through teaching it.
Well, that's awesome. Well, hey, man. Again, thanks for coming over today and doing this. We're gonna post that video as soon as possible of your performance. I'm sure I'd love to have you over again.
And this is your first. This is the first.
This is the inaugural. Technically, it's not, but the first one there was an issue, so it didn't get posted. So in essence, this is episode 1.
Is this recording?
It better be. No, this is it. So again, this is sitting here, Nico with Mike Chilton, awesome drummer in the Bay Area. So
thanks, man.
Awesome. Look forward to it. All right.
Do it again.
All right. Bye, everyone.
See ya.